Welcome back to Conspiracy Y, our 7th episode. On today's episode, we'll take a look at chemtrails and the supposed Galactic Federation. I'll read some articles, take a look, and I'll give my opinion at the end. Let's go. In life, good things happen and bad things happen. But a certain group of people refuse to accept the findings of what happened. This is where the conspiracy is born. I'll be your host, Arthur Wells, through this journey of knowns and unknowns, information and misinformation of some of the world's most important solved and unsolved mysteries. Welcome to Conspiracy Y. This article is from Live Science. As airplanes travel, they leave behind them long water condensation trails called chemtrails. These cloud-like tracks dissipate quickly, but to some conspiracy theorists, these condensation trails are much more nefarious. The chemtrail conspiracy theory holds that condensation trails are full of other chemicals that scientists and government are seeding into the atmosphere. Why? Pick a reason. It might be biological warfare, or population control, or geoengineering, or an attempt to manipulate weather. Researchers who study things like cloud impact on global temperatures are often harassed by chemtrail believers who think they're part of a large-scale conspiracy to secretly spray unknown chemicals into the atmosphere, according to Harvard University's David Keith. A 2016 study even debunked chemtrails scientifically, finding no evidence of unusual contrails or unexplained contamination in the environment. But true believers aren't swayed, as The Guardian reported in 2017. Alright, let's get right to it. To understand the chemtrail conspiracy, you have to understand what cloud seeding is. They kind of go hand in hand. Then from there you can make a decision on what you believe. Cloud seeding began in 1946 by a guy named Vincent J. Schaefer. He was a self-taught chemist. Not sure how you can be a self-taught chemist, but he was. They proclaimed him to be. He worked for General Electric, which is GE, which most people know it of as now GE. He worked in a laboratory. He made the first snowstorm in the laboratory. He actually induced precipitation outdoors, solving many of the mysteries of rain and snow that baffled scientists for years. So when you go with the seeding, which is really good to me, I think it's a good thing for the earth. But I also like to believe in life. With my experience, I realize things that were made for good somehow turn out in the wrong hands and are used for bad things. In chemtrails, well, the seeding, they say it's silver iodide, potassium iodide, and dry ice, which can work. In the last 2 years, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, and even California have expanded their cloud seeding operations, understood that they need rain, they need precipitation in places that have droughts. That's what it was created for. Now, what it's being used for today, I don't know. Some people say it's there to control the population. It's there to give people certain diseases if they don't have certain things in their body. Can't go too deep into that. I hope you just looked with an hourglass and understood what I was saying. But the cloud seeding is what started it all. It started for good. What are they using it for now? I don't know. My true beliefs? I always keep it 100. I keep it a buck, as the kids say. My true belief is that chemtrails were started for good, for rain, to help places in droughts. Then I think they wanted to use it as warfare. I'm 100% sure they wanted to use it for warfare back in, I think, World War II. Could have been Vietnam, but I'm pretty sure it was World War II. That it was when they wanted to use it for drying out one of the enemy's territories and put them in a drought, which would make them fall behind, and then we can get the upper hand in war. Not sure if it was ever used. But back to what I believe. I believe they seeded the clouds to make more clouds because something is wrong with our atmosphere. People don't speak on this. Something is wrong with our atmosphere. I don't think we're able to produce clouds in a manner of which we used to. So we use the seeding to produce clouds, which can produce rain. I don't know if it's the ozone layer, but the clouds that we have these days aren't the clouds that I grew up with. Fluffy, white, would disappear, come out of nowhere. We see these coming in a line. They blow over for miles and then become other clouds in other states. Something is wrong with our atmosphere. So on this, I'm gonna have to go 51-49. 51% for the conspiracy and 49% against the conspiracy. But do your homework. Just don't believe one side or another side. Do your homework. Remember, you might be wrong. This article is from NBC.com. Former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist and the US government knows about it. A Galactic Federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we understand what space and spaceships are, Hayamesh said. A former Israeli space security chief has sent eyebrows shooting heavenward by saying that Earthlings have been in contact with extraterrestrials from the Galactic Federation. Quote, "The unidentified flying objects have asked not to be published that they are here. Humanity is not ready yet." End quote. Hayamesh, former head of Israel's Defense Ministry Space Directorate, told Israeli newspaper. The interview in Hebrew ran in December of 2020 and gained traction after parts were published in English by the Jerusalem Post later that month. A respected professor and retired general, Esh said the aliens were equally curious about humanity and were seeking to understand the fabric of the universe. Esh said a cooperation agreement had been signed between species, including the underground base in the depths of Mars, where they are American astronauts and alien representation. Quote, "There's an agreement between the US government and the aliens. They signed a contract with us to do experiments here." End quote. Esh added that President Donald Trump was aware of the extraterrestrial existence and had been on the verge of revealing information, but was asked not to in order to prevent mass hysteria. They have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we can understand in general what space and spaceships are, as said, referring to the Galactic Federation. The White House and Israel officials did not immediately respond to NBC's news request for comment, Sue Goff, a spokesman for the Pentagon, declined to comment. A spokesman for NASA said one of the agency's key goals was to search for life in the universe, but it had yet to find signs of extraterrestrial life. Although we have yet to find signs of extraterrestrial life, NASA is exploring the solar system and beyond to help us answer fundamental questions, including whether we are alone in the universe, the spokesman said in a statement. Hesch's ideas are spelled out in more detail in The Universe Beyond the Horizon, Conversations with Professor Chaim Mesh, by Hagar Yani, published in November of 2020. Hesch, who oversaw the launch of numerous Israeli satellites into space, said he was only speaking out now because attitudes were changing and people seemed more receptive. If I had come out with what I'm saying today 5 years ago, I would have been hospitalized, he told the Israeli newspaper. Today they're already talking differently. I have nothing to lose. I've received my degrees and awards. I am respected in universities abroad. Okay, that was an interesting read. I'm gonna answer this question with a question. Like Ash said, why would a guy of high stature, respected in the universities for his knowledge, come out and say something so profane that he know people will look at him like he's crazy or like something's mentally wrong with him, and to call out the US government saying that Trump knows and we know? Mighty funny, a few years later in 2022, it would come out that the US government and the Pentagon has been chasing UFOs for decades now, and within the last decade we have a lot of evidence and a lot of footage from our aircraft and our boats that we see UFOs, things we can't explain. They say we didn't make them, and some of them do not look like it was made of this earth. So why would a guy of that stature come out and say something like that? In my opinion, it's because it's based in some form of fact. It's something that he know that the rest of the top players in the world knows. The number one the number one players, your first team players, which America, some parts of Europe, China, and other places like that have high value in space programs. He knows something. Now, is it a Galactic Federation that's waiting to accept us? For anyone that knows what I'm about to say, you're laughing already. It reminds me of the dad from South Park when he messed up the thing with the alien and he stole the space money. But that's another story for another day. It's a quick laugh. So on this conspiracy, I do believe that he knows something is up there. Is it on Mars? Is it on the moon? He said Mars. So he knows a lot more than me. And like I say, why would this guy ruin his whole career and everything that he's accomplished and done with universities and where he's from and other scientists? Why would he throw all that in the trash just to say he know about a Galactic Federation? So with that being said, I'm gonna have to go 32-68. 32% for the conspiracy and 68% against the conspiracy. I thought about this hard. I actually wanted to switch them around and go 68% for the conspiracy and 32% against the conspiracy, but until he can show some type of proof about the Galactic Federation, I'm gonna have to stay at 32%. I do believe 32% that this is true. I don't know. It's hard. I'm sitting here pondering it. And once again, when I do believe that this is happening, in my mind, I feel like I'm crazy for believing it. But once again, why would that guy come out and say that? You get what I'm saying? So once again, I go 32%, 68%. 32% for the conspiracy and 68% against the conspiracy. Thanks for watching. I've been your host, Arthur Wells. Don't forget to hit up that comment section, like, share, and subscribe, and let me know your percentage of each conspiracy. Once again, thanks for watching Conspiracy Why.